Coming live every Tuesday at 7 with Steve, Cat, Ryan, Amanda, and Eric. And the voice of NEW, Vince Berry. Hitting all the topics like a clothesline flurry. Turn up your speakers and hear them out. You can listen from your car, even on your couch. They too raw, who NXT? Handing out SmackDowns, follow on IG. Plus, it's sponsored by Tag Me a Date. Go to YouTube and sub now for every update. It's all wrestling here. No safe space. Now listen in. Time to hear from some of the greats.
If you smell what The Rock is cooking.
I figure, how do we not? You know,
ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So, welcome to War Report. We are not implicitly stating that sometime in the next hour The Rock is going to show up. We're just going to heavily imply that The Rock is going to show up for an interview and then just completely not address it by the end of the show. So we're not gonna say, I'm not saying The Rock is coming on in the next hour to do an interview, but I'm just going to heavily imply it. But then he's never going to show up. Spoiler alert for Survivor Series if you haven't watched it yet. We're going to get into some spoiler territory. Well, yes, this is the War Report brought to you by TaggingYouDate.com. Steve has told me he's got an outline for how he would like things to be addressed because aside from Survivor Series and Monday Night Raw, there's a lot of things going on in the wrestling world, weird things happening in Raw. We'll get into all of that as we move on, but I will hand it over to my intrepid co-host Steve here, and go ahead, boss.
We are most certainly going to fucking address the fact that Survivor Series was completely based around the fact that it was The Rock's 25th anniversary and not even a fucking video. Not even a fucking video.
But they never said he was going to be there.
Nothing.
That's the important takeaway.
Yeah, just imply it for fucking a month.
Technically,
and then show me little fucking vignettes all night. Keep me watching till 11:30, which I only fucking did because I'm like, oh, it's going this late. Rock is backstage. This shit's happening and nothing. But you know what?
Steve,
I don't even want to. I'm not even. Oh, I'm pissed. But I don't even want to start there. I don't even want to start there. You know where I want to fucking start. You want to know where I want to fucking start? I'll show you where I want to fucking start. Look at the fucking screen. Hit fucking row. Are you kidding me?
You gotta put.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, I forgot that happened over. Wow. We didn't even get to talk about that. There were so many releases.
No. So that's why we're gonna start there because I'm fucking pissed.
Look at his. First of all, I would like to acknowledge for those of you who don't watch the live stream, it's often opportune. You should watch the live stream because Steve is dressed like The Rock today.
I'm fired up right now.
And B,
I just don't have the fanny pack.
He just gave the crazy guys. And those were the greatest. Like, you saw the entire whites around his eyes. So if you haven't watched this live stream, go back and watch it just for the whites around Steve's eyes when he gets angry. Go ahead.
You want to see fucking passion? I'll show you fucking passion. Right? You got Top Dollar, Ashanti Adonis, Drake Maverick, John fucking Morrison, Tegan Knox. Tegan Knox, that's a huge fucking mistake. Huge fucking mistake. Tegan Knox. You got Jackson Riker, who gives a fuck? Isaiah Swerve Scott, Shane Thorne, who gives a fuck? But I mean, Hit Row. I'm telling you, you had money. You had fucking money. And the rumor is, because Top Dollar addressed WWE and said it was a mistake to release the B-Fab, whatever the fuck her name is. And that was part of the reason why they felt like they had to remove him.
So they let everybody go?
What the fuck? Well, there is no Hit Row if you ain't got Top Dollar. So this is fucking bullshit. I'm more pissed about them than anything else. John Morrison too, and Tegan Knox. Those are my top ones. Tegan Knox, that's stupid. She's gonna go to AEW and kick some fucking ass.
Oh, absolutely.
So good for her.
Why did WWE, they always had John Morrison for periods of time, and I never feel they capitalized on him. He's a good-looking guy. I know he's not like the world's greatest promo, but over the last 10, 11 years, he's gotten a lot better than he was as just generic John Morrison.
Here's the problem with Morrison. If you brought him back and treated him like the John Morrison that was not there prior, the one that was in Impact Wrestling or the one that was in that Lucha Underground shit.
Yeah.
You bring that John Morrison in, it's a game changer. But instead, you had him come back and be the exact guy that he was 10 years ago that didn't work in your eyes because you released him then. You put him back with The Miz. Okay, now The Miz is doing fucking Dancing with the Stars and losing. So what do? So you make him just a fucking, goofball squirting fucking water and shit. What did you think was going to happen? That's another lost talent. And I swear to God, I hope they land in AEW too, because then you'll get to see the Morrison that you should have gotten when he came back to WWE.
Taya Valkyrie. First of all, how fucked up is it that they fired a couple who uprooted their entire lives? They both had careers in other places that they could have stayed in Impact. They could have gone to AEW. They uprooted their lives and moved to Florida for WWE. And less than a year later, both of them are fucking gone. So
Yeah.
I'm at a loss for words, man. I can't believe we're gonna have to go through this. It seems like every couple weeks now.
What
as
kind
they
of budget
reevaluate
issues
contracts.
are WWE running into if they have to cut?
I don't know. They have $100 million egg. Just sell Cleopatra's egg, and you can afford all the talent you want. I'm that.
We're gonna have to talk about that too, because you have fucking AEW that just put on a phenomenal pay-per-view, right? And then a phenomenal Dynamite to follow it up.
Yep.
And your rebuttal is to have a pay-per-view revolve about a guy that's not going to be there, and a fucking golden egg that then leads on to Raw, and the whole Raw is based on find the golden egg for Vince McMahon. Are you fucking kidding me? This is the rebuttal. This is the problem. This is the fucking problem.
Yeah. Would it have been better if the
Circle jerking
gobbledygooker shit
Vince.
the egg out first? Like if there was a scene where the gobbledygooker went into the bathroom and shit the egg out, and then Austin Theory found it, would that have been better? I don't know.
What if he was
probably not, but I would have been happier if it was the gobbly-fucking-gooker shitting out the fucking golden egg.
Yeah, the golden egg thing doesn't make any sense.
Have a nesting and have someone pull the egg out. He shit the golden egg.
Right in the nest. Yeah, the gobbledygooker is sitting on the nest and won't let anybody in, and then somebody hits their finish. Like the gobbledygooker gets RKO'd, and then Austin Theory comes up and grabs the egg. We've already come up with a better storyline than WWE did for this shit. Let me just back up. For those of you who don't know what happened, I'll kind of give you the whole picture here. Back over the summer, The Rock said, Dwayne Johnson, said, hey, I am available for Survivor Series. And WWE said, great. And Netflix also said, hey, we're going to hop on this and pay WWE a lot of money to promote The Rock's new movie, Red Notice. So if The Rock appears at Survivor Series and it's promoted by the new film Red Notice starring The Rock, that's going to be a good brand integration, let's say. So Netflix paid a bunch of money to WWE for this fucking egg thing.
Corporate synergy, bud.
Corporate synergy, yes. So the idea, I guess, was that The Rock was supposed to be there with this egg, and more was supposed to happen. However,
they knew far in advance The Rock wasn't going to be there. Yeah, let's not pretend like The Rock backed out an hour before. You know what I mean?
Right. No, he didn't back out an hour, but they were still financially obligated to Netflix to do something with the egg or to promote the movie, or they were going to lose their money. So they took the financial option. But it didn't make any sense. That was the problem. Without The Rock there, it's kind of. Listen, they never said The Rock was going to be there. They never promoted The Rock.
Yeah, makes sense.
Technically, they just called it the 25th anniversary of The Rock. There was a battle royal called the 25th anniversary Rock Memorial, whatever battle royal. They showed clips of the movie in the intro. There was a golden fucking egg that Vince McMahon carried around like a moron.
Yeah, they somehow tried to tie the movie and wrestling together in the opening.
Yeah, so all of that would make sense if The Rock showed up. But because The Rock didn't show up, all it seems like is product placement, which it was, with nothing else tying it to wrestling. That's like the Pizza Hut pizza or whatever it was they were throwing around. It had nothing to do with wressling.
How they
Ryan, can you turn your microphone up because I can't really hear you?
By promoting pizza.
Here's what I would say.
Yeah.
I think the only good thing to come out of that entire golden egg thing, and we'll get to it when we get to Raw, but the only real good thing that came out of it was Austin Theory.
Yeah.
And we'll touch more on that because to me, his match with Big E, not saying it's the same, but gave me the same type of feeling when John Cena, the prototype, came and challenged Kurt Angle. Different wrestling styles, not comparing wrestling styles, but the whole, it's time for you to step up and go right for the world title and see what you can do kind of thing. And he put on a great match. He lost because he was distracted, rookie kind of thing, but everyone does it. I think it was well done. And we'll touch more on it when we get to Raw. So that's kind of, I feel much better now. Thank you. I got that off my chest. That's been stewing for quite a while. And it's just, what are we doing? I mean, you're really letting some really great talent go. And it's a shame because I saw good things for a lot of them. Morrison, you dropped the ball now a second time.
Again,
but the one nice thing that we can say,
What's that?
is there's other places they can go.
Yep.
And
they're going to be
in like 20 years we've been able to say that.
I mean, you got Impact that's starting to make a name for itself again. I still don't really watch it, but I see clips on social media. And then you got AEW, which is just, amazing. So I really wanted to touch a little bit on Dynamite because Dynamite following Fallout was exactly how a show should be after a big pay-per-view. It continued a lot of things. It closed a lot of things. It advanced a lot of things.
It set up your world title feud.
It set that up. It kind of removed Kenny Omega without them turning on him, which was cool because that leaves that and that leaves the door open for him to come back. I liked that. Sammy Guevara, Jay Lethal put on the match of a lifetime.
That was amazing.
If you haven't seen it, go on YouTube and watch the match. It was fantastic match from start to finish. It really was good. Jay Lethal, you forget sometimes how good Jay Lethal really is. And Sammy Guevara can do his thing. I mean, the two of them, it was really, really a great match. There were just a lot of great moments, but the biggest moment, and this is the one thing I really wanted to touch on, and then we can move on to Survivor Series unless anyone has anything else they want to add, because I know I'm saying a lot. But the biggest thing for me is you had MJF come out and cut another fantastic promo as he does. And then CM Punk comes out. And you have something so special. When the two come face to face, nobody says a word, but the crowd goes fucking nuts.
Right?
They said nothing, they did nothing, and the whole crowd is already chanting, "This is awesome." That's when you got something real special because nothing had to be said, nothing had to be done. And then MJF, as a true heel, puts out the hand and says, "Maxwell, how are you?" And Punk just smiles and walks away, and that's the whole thing. But it gave me the bumps, and it's setting up what should be a phenomenal feud between those two because they're both great on the mic. So the promos, this was just a taste because nothing was really said. It's a taste of what's to come, and I think we have something very special coming with those two. Those were the biggest takeaways for me. Anyone have anything they want to add? But that was huge.
You mentioned couples and like Morrison and Taya. If you think about it, let's break this down here. In like a month or so's time, they released 3 couples. Those two plus
Mia Yim and Keith Lee
plus Karrion Kross and Scarlett.
Yeah.
3
That
couples.
sucks.
All great talent on top of that.
Yeah, all of them.
Oh, I know. They're
I
all
still don't
top-tier
understand
talent.
how they thought Karrion Kross was going to get over without Scarlett.
Well, no,
No
but
idea.
that's the thing. You know what though? The reality is Karrion Kross is good enough where he could have gotten over without Scarlett, and you can always bring Scarlett back in the picture.
Yeah.
The problem is right off the bat, you changed his gimmick from what he was in NXT, where he
Yeah.
was already over. Don't
That's
try to
again,
fix.
Yes.
Don't try to fix what ain't broken. I say it all the time. That was the killer right there for Karrion. He was dead on arrival, and
Well,
it's a
yeah, because
shame.
the whole thing was different. Like,
Yeah.
what didn't the music was the music not as like what happened to it? There was some with the entrance and the music. Obviously,
it
you know,
was
Scarlet Fall
tried
and
to-
Pray. Was
yeah,
it like
it was
not in
just-
there or something?
No,
or was
it
like
was the
not
theme
emphasized
song
as
was still
much?
the same,
recorded.
but you know, it was still the same. But Scarlett's not there. They didn't
She's
have
not
all the
doing thing
smoke
in
and the
front of her.
lighting.
Right, right. He
Like,
came out very
it's-
plain.
And then
Right.
And then eventually they gave him some goofy
They
helmet
gave
or
him the
whatever.
penis helmet. Yeah,
The mask was so fucking dumb.
that was the
I mean,
kiss of death right there, and everybody
Yeah.
knew it.
and we said it. We said it then.
From
That
day
was it.
one.
Day one. Dead on arrival.
I
And
mean,
it's a
that
shame
shit makes-
because you just have such great talent that you're just. I don't know, man. You can't tell me that it's a money issue. I'm sorry. You
Yeah.
it's fucking ridiculous.
The
But
only way it's a money
mask,
issue
that
is if you're
thing,
trying to
man,
sell the
that-
company.
That made
Right.
me miss Farouk's blue helmet.
yeah, but you know what though? It gives
That's how
people
bad it
like
was.
it gives people like Keith Lee and Yim and Scarlett and Karrion to come in as couples in AEW also. So you know, I mean, there's some shit that's gonna happen. It just sucks because we have to wait. Well, not 90 anymore, but
Yeah.
you know, probably 80 days now or whatever the fuck
Right.
it is. But you know, it sucks. These are all, you know, we complain about the releases too because we love the characters and we're behind the characters and we see the potential in the characters, right? And the
And
superstars.
it's a human being losing
And
their
well,
job.
but that's
man.
the other thing. That's where I was going. You know, you're fucking with people's livelihood. You know, like you said, Morrison and you know Valkyrie, they uprooted themselves. They relocated all this to what? Get a pink slip in less than a year. You know, or I don't.
Drake
It may not be,
Maverick,
but
man.
Drake
Drake
Maverick.
got
God,
fired twice in the last year. Can you imagine that? How shitty that has to feel?
On
They
top
fire
of
you
having
once.
This emotional storyline.
Yeah, and you
to-
cut
to
this
bring
big
'em back.
promo, and they bring you right. They bring him back, and then a year later, they're like, nah, just kidding. We're gonna fire you again.
We're gonna bring you up to Raw, and I'll look at the time. You're fired.
Yeah.
Did I mention? Just get the fuck out.
It's like it's one of those things where like, so after all this time, goodbye and good luck. I don't remember saying good luck.
Yeah.
Shit. What else do we have? I mean, should we get into the specifics of the pay-per-view with the time we have left here, and then get into Raw?
well, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think now it's time we probably move over to Survivor Series. Does anyone else hear? There's a lot of background noise all of a sudden, or is it just me?
Like a
I
TV
hear
or
it.
something.
I
I
don't
hear
know what
It
some kind of,
sounds like a
yelling or
wind
whatever.
tunnel or something. Like oh. All right, that's gone now. I don't know where it was coming from. All right, maybe it was a fluke thing. So anyway, Survivor Series Fallout. Here's one quick thing I'll say, and then we'll kind of go down, you know, match to match. I think a lot of the matches were actually solid. I think it was actually overall a decent pay-per-view in terms of the quality of the matches, even the booking. I thought a lot of it made absolutely no fucking sense. There was no like you didn't really give a fuck if Raw or SmackDown won.
No,
Yeah.
You know, it just
Especially if Adam Pearce is for both teams.
well, right.
Yeah.
It seemed completely meaningless, and then it went way too long. There's no reason that show should have gone till 11:30.
not at
You
all.
know, so those and I gotta tell you, I don't think a big four like Survivor Series didn't make me feel anywhere close to as good as AEW Full Gear did. So
Not
what does
even
that tell you?
close.
Yeah, well, they're not
I gotta-
about making people happy anymore. They're about just cranking out content. And I mean, I hate to say it
Audience
because
of
like
one.
he's the man, but it's the Roman Reigns show, and they've established that whatever championship you have, whatever belt you have, whatever legendary status you might have as a Hall of Famer or whatever, Roman Reigns is the top fucking guy, and you are
Well,
a
but he should be the
disrespect-
top guy. I do.
But-
Listen, I
but
love what
he-
they're
but-
doing
right,
with Roman.
No, but he's
I'll
untouchable to
disagree
the
with
point
that.
where even your other brand champion doesn't look as good compared to him. So there's just
Right.
I don't know. They spent a lot of time thinking about Roman and how to get him over, and they feel like maybe they should, put some of that
Can I
same
take the,
care and effort into some other
sourpuss
characters.
opinion on this?
What's that?
What was that?
Can I take the sourpuss opinion on this?
What's your sourpuss opinion?
Do you, bro?
How many superstars could have succeeded better than Roman Reigns if given all the chances that Roman Reigns has been given?
I'm sure.
Wait,
there's some.
say that again.
How many superstars that were released could have gone over, even more so than Roman Reigns currently, if they were given the opportunity? Opportunities, I'm sorry. That
Multiple
Roman Reigns has been
opportunities.
given.
Yeah, because I mean, Reigns got booed out of Royal Rumbles and WrestleManias, and they just kept putting him in that spot. So I mean,
Yeah,
is it
but
just
he's
one of
doing
those-
amazing now.
He is now, but I'm saying, like, if somebody
That's what
could they have taken like Kenny from the Spirit Squad, Ken Doane, and given him the Roman Reigns push, and would it have worked? Is it a product of like, because they just did it with John Cena, and then they forced him into being the top guy. And same thing with Roman Reigns. He was kind of like forced into being top guy because they picked him. If they picked somebody else, what if they, what if one day Vince wakes up and says he wants to take, Cesaro or somebody and make them the top? Can you just put that kind of effort behind any superstar
Boy, we can only
and
wish
get the
it
same
was
results?
Cesaro.
Or is Roman Reigns that? I know he's good, but what I'm saying is he
I'm
so
not saying
good
that
that
he isn't
somebody
good.
else couldn't also be a top guy with that much attention paid to them?
That was the question I was getting at.
Yeah, because Cesaro, like I'm going to use Cesaro because he's still with the company this week. Eventually
This
all of them-
week.
This week.
they'll all be in
I
AEW.
appreciate
eventually.
It's sad, but it's true.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like, so if you took Cesaro and you started giving him a big time push like you gave Roman Reigns or Big E to right into the main event, are people going to buy it? Or is it just that Roman Reigns is a special generational talent and they had to put this machine behind him? Like, I don't know. I just don't know what it is about Roman Reigns. If it's the relationship to The Rock, is
It's
he that
everything,
good? Like, I don't
dude.
know.
It's everything Vince wants in a champion. He's got the look, he's got the size. He's finally got over as a heel. He's doing a great job. He's hitting a home run. Heyman is definitely not helping the situation.
Heyman's
I
not
think
helping?
no, it's not that he's not helping the situation. Of course he's helping. I mean, Heyman is
He's
a
the
big
double
reason that he got over in the first place, in my opinion. But I think Roman has done a good enough job where I think he deserves the spot that he's in. I think he deserves to continue to be the champion. I love what they're doing with him and the Usos and the whole family and I do. I love everything about it. I really do. And he's decent in the ring. He's good enough where, I ain't mad at it. That's just me.
All right. Yeah, no, I'm
It
just trying to
wasn't
get a
taking
take on it because
anything
I've seen
away
a lot.
from Roman. It just the chances he got to get there.
Right. He kept getting second and third chances where other people, they gave him that shot once, maybe, and then
And
they
you
were done.
then you undercut him on top of giving him the shot by
Yeah,
taking things away.
I get it. I do. I understand that too. But at the same time, it's WWE, and this is what we do. What is that? Does anyone else hear that?
Yeah, it's like I don't know if it's an echo or a buffer. Like it sounds like us repeated back to us.
Yeah. What the fuck? We're having major
got
sound issues
ghosts.
soon. Sorry. Yeah.
got
Well,
ghosts.
listen, Ghostbusters is out now, so cheap
Here's
plug.
a here's a question though, like regarding the whole Roman Reigns thing. Like, eventually someone's got to beat him, right? Who is
Yeah.
that going to be? Like, if he's gonna,
I don't think there's anybody right now. Quite
No, I
honestly.
think they're gonna give him the Bruno
right.
Sammartino reign.
Yeah.
It's gonna be years, dude. It's gonna be years. They're gonna have to find somebody within their system. Or
You know who
outside
it's
of their
going to
system
be?
and bring them in.
It's going to be this Olympian kid that they're bringing in. He's going to be the one that they're saying is like, the next Brock Lesnar.
Oh,
Yeah.
that kid. I forget his name. Yeah.
I know who you're talking about though.
But that's a lot of pressure to put on somebody who's isn't he still in college? Isn't he still wrestling as well?
Isn't he the one that they brought the ring to
Right.
the campus so that he
he's still
can?
at the University of Minnesota training.
I assume so. I'm not
Boudreaux,
following it quite
right?
honestly, but I don't know. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But
Parker
apparently this
Boudreaux.
guy's supposed to be a fucking animal. So
Right. No, he's a
you know.
he's a beast. He's legit, and that's a great thing.
Listen,
but,
if
like,
they put the time and the money into him, listen, it's WWE. They'll make it go over. They'll make it. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say that. That's the wrong thing to say, but you know what I mean.
But look at Brock Lesnar though. The moment I saw Brock Lesnar on WWE TV, I knew he was going to be something.
Oh, 100%. I could. Yeah, it was
He had that
fucking. Well,
presence
right.
about him, you know?
The booking of his debut was fantastic. And then
man.
you just see this guy that's got muscles vomiting out of muscles. I mean, it was just
I
fucking
remember
insane.
seeing the first time I saw Brock Lesnar live. It was the Hartford Civic Center. It was the night that WWF changed over to WWE. It was a Monday Night Raw, and he was, Lesnar wasn't feuding with Hogan at the time. Hogan was feuding with Undertaker. I think that was the episode where the Undertaker ruined Hogan's bike. Anyway, Heyman comes down to the ring with Lesnar. And this is young Lesnar when he used to wear a lot of baby oil and he was all jacked to the gills. The guy looked like a monster, like a legitimate monster. You've just never seen like those traps. He looks like an oxen on 2 feet. Like he's just an amazing specimen of a person to look at from a physiological standpoint. And then he can go out there and throw people around and hurt them and when he wanted to, could do a fucking shooting star press. He is a generational once-in-a-lifetime athlete. In any other era, he would have been a knight fighting in battles or a Viking taking over a city, or just a 1920s boxing champion or something. But in the modern day, he's a modern day gladiator, MMA and pro football for a little while and pro wrestling. So like it's amazing to see him do the things that he could do right out of the gate like that. So if Parker Boudreaux can have the same kind of hot start that Brock Lesnar did, where they could just put him right out there, squash a bunch of people and push him right into the main event, then God bless him. But
What about that?
It's a lot
What
of
about
pressure.
that guy that's like Kurt Angle, that Gable Stevenson guy too?
Gable Stevenson has he's great. I mean,
Listen,
again,
he is
legitimate
another one.
talent.
He is another one. And you
I
know
would
what
like
else?
him to
It could
show
be
some personality.
it could be the Steiner kid too. You
Oh,
call
yes.
him
No,
up early and he
okay.
just comes in. I mean, that's
I am so hoping that they're just using this Braun Breaker name as his NXT name
and they give him the Steiner name when they call him up.
when he's ready, quote
I
unquote,
hope
ready
so.
to be a Steiner. Like
He
that would be
even
great.
sounds like them. Like
He does. He talks like them. I mean, listen, he from the time he was a child, he idolized his uncle Scott Steiner. And he always wanted to be a wrestler. That was his goal from being a kid. He saw his father and he saw his uncle do it and hit great heights in their career. They are legendary wrestlers, a legendary tag team. Scott Steiner went on to have a legendary singles career, despite, kind of being roided up and eventually breaking down. But I mean, he was a monster talent too, much in the same way as Brock Lesnar, just a big beefy guy who could do a lot of suplexes and shit. Yeah, and he sounds like he cuts promos. You can tell he spent so much time watching Steiner Brothers and Scott Steiner promos because he just sounds. Oh, it's beautiful. So yeah, I'm hoping that he graduates to being a Steiner.
Yeah.
And this is my second hope, and it's never going to happen. Is that Jimmy Hart comes back and does a modern version of Steiner Line as his music. Steiner Line.
That'd be fun. I'd be for that.
Steiner Line is a great song.
I just really hope they don't fuck him up. Just
I don't
do it the
think-
right
honestly,
way. And
I don't think you can because they've already tried.
listen,
with the stupid-
never
they
say
tried
never
with
in
the
the
stupid
WWE.
I shouldn't even say it. I shouldn't even.
Do not
What I'm
issue
saying is,
the challenge.
he just seems. He seems like a kid that if
He can
you
take the
wanted to
shit.
put him in, yeah. Like I mean, I think they could put him on Raw or SmackDown right now in like the U.S. title or Intercontinental title scene, and he'd fit in.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens.
All right, so here's what I want to do. Let's go down. One thing I got to tell you right off the bat that disappointed me is that they knocked Shinsuke and Priest to the pre-show.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty shitty. However, as usual, they put on a great match, but of course it had to end in a DQ with Nakamura getting the win. But overall, it was a decent match. Eddie, what was your thought what are you thinking? We haven't heard much from you this evening.
Hey guys, hey, I'm so sorry, man. I was actually in the process right now of actually feeding my son daddy duties.
Priorities, my dude. Priorities.
What was the question? I'm sorry. What you guys were talking about? I apologize.
So no, don't apologize. Listen, we're going over. We're gonna go line by line with the pay-per-view. So we're right off the bat a little pissed off that they moved Shinsuke Priest to the pre-show. Nonetheless, they did. Great match, but of course, Fugazi DQ finish. Shinsuke gets the win. What was your thoughts? Anything you want to?
No, I mean, as a fellow Boricua, I was actually definitely rooting hard body for Damian Priest to actually win that match. I believe him next to Roman had the longest reign as far as like undefeated. He was like 293 days. I just looked this up the other day that he hasn't been defeated in a while. So
I love
actually,
Priest.
When we did the pick 'em, I ended up picking Priest to go over because I was like, this is easy enough for nothing. But Shinsuke, he's not going to go over. And surprise, he lost, but he lost via, DQ, breaking the guitar. And I thought that was, again, I don't know what they're doing with Priest as far as the whole train. I don't know, man. Everything from changing his theme music, which I think is whack currently, everything from him having this whole like heel changes, kind of I feel like what they're alluding to. I could be wrong.
Again, don't try and fix what's not broken.
Exactly. The dude is he's amazing, man. We came out with actually represent, so I'll show you guys on the thing.
Nice, Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny, my boy.
Of course.
And when he came out in Mania, man, he killed it. Ever since April, he's been killing it. And
we were very impressed. Very impressed.
Very, very impressed. And
we were very skeptical, but we were very impressed.
So as far as that's concerned, I mean, move to the pre-show. I think it's completely lame. I think it's a piece of shit, booking, and definitely thought, definitely Priest should definitely gone over in that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm a big fan of Priest, and if they do everything the right way with him, he is without question a future world heavyweight champion. There's no doubt about it. But WWE has to, put the rocket in his ass and set it on fire, but he's got all the talent in the world, especially, you go back and listen to his backstory on 24 and all that shit, man. What he's been through to get here, you give him all the credit. These are the types of guys you root for. Heel or face, this is what you want.
Me, from the boogie down, he came from nothing, all this stuff. It's definitely, amazing story, and definitely, I was definitely rooting hard for him, and there's just I'm just down in the dumps.
Yeah. Hey, listen, just remember when shit like that starts to happen, typically good things start to happen at the end, and then it can't be so.
I can't remember when there was maybe it's Pedro Morales, but when's the last time we had a Puerto Rican WWE champion? Huh? I can't. I mean,
that's a very good question, Ryan.
I'm working.
Ryan, yeah, back to you, buddy.
No, he can find the answer.
Ryan will get the answer. We'll have that shortly. So yeah, I'm with you, man. I agree. But overall, I mean, that's the thing too. It's like this whole fucking pay-per-view. I feel like I'm going to say the same thing over and over. Great match. Like overall, it was a good match. Mm-hmm. Just nobody gave a fuck. The only match that I was truly invested in, which I was very surprised opened the show, was Charlotte Becky, especially since everything we were hearing was it was going to be the main event. I'm not mad at the way they booked it. They and they changed for the better because they set the bar extremely high for the rest of the night. Those two girls beat the fucking shit out of each other. I mean, you could really see, they really, this shit is the real deal. Like they're not friends anymore, and they were able to be professional enough to put on a fantastic match. And I thought the ending was actually pretty good. I had no issue with the roll up into the reverse roll up pulling the rope. I thought it was just like the perfect, like, fuck you.
It's a classic case of what's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? She ended up, Charlotte tried, and then Becky said, I beat you to it. And that's it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Table, what you guys think? Becky Lynch, Charlotte, probably one of the best matches of the night.
I thought so. At
You
least
look,
had a
you
good
put those
story
two
to it.
together, they're always going to kill it, you know?
Yeah, I think that, it's never going to be a bad match between them. I think the unfortunate thing is that there was some real life stuff that they did then try and use as part of the storyline, and I know people like that kind of worky, shooty stuff. But in this case, it just felt, I don't know, it didn't. It almost felt like the real life stuff was a little more juicier than the backstage, like the TV stuff. It didn't feel like the time where Nia bloodied up Becky and then they used that in a positive way. This was like bringing Melanie Pillman out after Brian Pillman died and like dragging their dirty laundry into the public. This is like taking two friends who had a private issue and a falling out and just dragging their dirty laundry on TV. And I'm not saying they didn't have a part in doing it and that they didn't okay it. I'm just saying it felt weird to me that even then, like Big E had, like, when talking about promoting Survivor Series on interviews, had to talk about the personal problems that Charlotte and Becky had, and they're not close anymore, and we'll have to see what happens in Survivor Series, because part of that is true, and part of that is trying to sell a pay-per-view, and it just felt off to me somehow. I don't know. It just felt different than the other times they've brought real life into storylines. It just didn't. I don't know. It didn't do anything for me.
Another unexpected factor was Becky's attire,
Yeah.
or both of them really.
Yeah.
And apparently,
It was a little.
Andrade
what did we
and
call it
Charlotte
in
don't
the
follow each
chat?
other
It
on
was a
social
little
media
cheeky?
anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw that today.
Weird. What was that, Eric?
What did we call it in the chat? It was a little cheeky.
A little cheeky.
It was a little cheeky.
Yes, the outfit just a little cheeky. We have anything else to say about that, or else we'll move on to the next match?
It's
do you
move
think?
on.
I
Yeah.
think we're good. We can move on. I mean,
Yeah.
I
What else
overall,
can you say about two good wrestlers wrestling a good match? Like, it's everything else surrounding it is whatever. Like you said, Steve, the actual pay-per-view, like the wrestling of it, good stuff. Everything else, like the writing, doesn't matter. None of this shit matters. It just we're chasing after a fake $100 million golden egg. None
it's
of it
the
fucking
same.
matters.
Well, and it's a shame. If you and somebody may have to interject and help me with this because I'm gonna fuck it up. But the whole, forget the egg for a minute. The matches the matches that, so Xavier Woods, he posted something. It was, I don't know if it was a video or a tweet or I don't know, but he posted something that he was saying like what they should do is have your Survivor Series matches, and then the ones that survive go into a final thing, and the winner gets a world title shot of their brand,
No,
or
it was,
something, or
It was
something like
something
that.
with stakes.
I remember.
What was it?
For the Royal Rumble, the losing team
Yes.
goes into a fatal five-way.
To
First
determine
person
the
to get
last-
pinned
the first
is
five.
number one, and then all the way to number 5. The winners get the last 5.
Okay, right. So
In the
thank you.
match.
I knew I was going to fuck it up, but I knew there was something.
Yeah.
So even better, though. Like, what a fucking great idea. And there's no way in hell if Xavier Woods is putting it out there that he didn't tell somebody. Like, that would make it mean something. That would make me sit here and say, okay, I'm invested in this 5-on-5 Survivor Series elimination match.
Right.
Which on paper, you've got some great talent in there. Bobby Lashley, you put Austin Theory in there, which I'm a huge fan. Kevin Owens, of course, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Jeff Hardy, Xavier Woods, Sheamus, and Baron Corbin. So it's a great lineup. And it was a great match. Some things were a little weird, like Kevin Owens just walked off and said, fuck all you.
Strange.
That was
He pulled the
Seth,
bad news brown.
yeah, Seth Rollins winning. I can't say that I'm really surprised. Austin Theory being there until the end. I mean, I see some good shit. I thought it was a
They're
good
putting
match.
the kid over strong, man. This
They-
Austin themes seems that they like him a lot.
Well, and we'll get to that when we touch on Raw. But overall, I thought it was a great match. Anyone have anything they want to add on that match? But Team Raw did defeat Team SmackDown. Rollins, pinned. Actually, it was, I think Hardy was in the end. Yes, and he was the sole survivor.
Oh wow, Sole Survivor. No, we're good.
So if
with that.
nobody,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was saying I think we're good on the elimination match. We can move
so-
to the next one.
All right, then we'll move on to the 25 years of the Rock Battle Royal. That meant nothing because the Rock wasn't there.
Like, could you even? Could you give something to them? Could you give them a replica of that Rock's Brahma Bull Championship belt? Could we get
Lady,
something from them?
ladies and gentlemen, this is what you call filler. This
yeah,
was
the old T-shirt.
this pay-per-view is not going to be going long enough because 11:30, is early. We're going to put this fluffer match in. That means absolutely nothing, but we're going to call it the Rock's Battle Royal because it's the 25th anniversary of the guy who didn't cut a promo or a return. So.
Nothing. I mean, couldn't he have cut a promo to congratulate the winner or something?
He has sent in video promos before. Like, I don't
He sent a
understand.
video
Like,
promo in to Impact Wrestling for Ken Shamrock's Hall of Fame induction.
Mhm.
He couldn't send a video in for the 25th anniversary of the start of his fucking.
well, listen, let's be
career?
honest. If somebody had asked him to, he would have. So the fact of the matter is, nobody on that side must have asked. I mean, can you see The Rock saying, "No, I don't have the
I know.
time"?
You're right.
I mean, he
Okay,
would
you're
go into
right.
his fucking
It's not
trailer
him. It's
and
not
even
him.
on
he
his.
could do an
you know.
iPhone video. It would have been fine. Nobody would care.
That's what I'm saying. Like, hey guys, listen, I'm on set filming my new fucking
show the
movie.
set and,
Whatever. Right. So that was kind of a drop ball. But in any way, I'll almost won in case anyone is surprised by this.
That's crazy.
So okay.
Specifically, who got eliminated last?
You would think with the amount of budget cuts, they could afford a cameo for The Rock, right?
Right? Yeah. Oh, you can just go on cameo and pay a couple $100.
Ricochet was the last person to get eliminated.
Of course, he was.
Well,
Because
right. I
they
mean,
do not
if-
value Ricochet.
oh, they never have. Then they're going to fuck that up. Now, let's move on to the next match. This match actually was a very good match, and the finish was fantastic. Of course, I'm talking about Rated RK Bro versus Usos. And that match I thought was fantastic. And then the RKO out of nowhere to finish it off. I mean, the chemistry that they shouldn't have, they have, and it's wonderful to watch. And I can't say enough. That was one of my favorite matches of the night. What do you guys think?
Almost
I
by
agree.
default, man.
Yeah.
Like, it might be the best match of the night by default because you look at some of them and you're like, the Nakamura match ended in DQ. The Raw match was half an hour long. The elimination match for the men's, like, okay. The Rumble match was filler.
boring.
The women's match, so the champion versus champion women's match and this tag team match are up there, man, as probably the two contenders for match of the night. And I agree with what you're saying because I didn't think when they put Randy Orton and Riddle together, first of all, didn't think they were going to be together for very long because usually these wacky tag teams don't go very long and they just break them up and then one person turns heel. Seems like that was the plan, and then when people responded to it, they decided to keep the team going, which is great.
Well, and you got to figure that
they work
they're
together
learning
well.
a lot.
I mean,
They're learning a lot too. It's a teaching experience too.
It's a good
in a way.
opportunity, yeah, for Matt Riddle, who's already a good athlete. This is a good opportunity for him to learn from a veteran professional wrestler to kind of up things in his game. Like I saw, one of my favorite things was seeing Randy when they won. It was one or two pay-per-views ago where they had the titles and the ref gave them back the titles at the end of the match, and he said, "All right,
I know exactly where you're
we're
going.
gonna go up on 3 and raise the titles in the air. Ready? Go." And they both went to the turnbuckles and raised the titles. He's like see, this is the shit you got to do. This is the timing to do it.
Yeah.
Both go up the turnbuckles, both raise the titles at the same time. He was like, little things like that maybe you wouldn't think of, but they're like little finishing touches, like seasoning salt. They put a little. He needs Matt Riddle needs a little adobo. You know what I mean?
Like sazon on that. That's it. Seems it up.
Yes,
real good.
you pop some sazon on Matt Riddle.
That's it. Hook it up, baby. You talking my language.
Now
Crank it
he's
up a
Matt
notch,
Pregunta.
bam.
You know what I mean? Like whatever.
Nah, I agree, man. RK Bro. I mean, been doing big things. Man.
And not to undersell the Usos too, because those guys, I mean, they've been a tag team since birth. So
Yeah.
they're fucking
You
great.
can say they were down since day one.
Yeah.
we the ones. There you go.
So
That was
we
horrible.
got let's keep moving because we're getting close here. We got the
Yeah.
women's 5-on-5 Survivor Series elimination match, which meant nothing. However, it was a great match, I thought, and Bianca coming back 4-1. To come back and win, it really put Bianca so fucking over the table. It's not even funny. I mean, you talk about putting a rocket in somebody's ass and showing them the way.
Yeah,
they have
to
done
the
that
moon.
with Bianca. So I'm very happy with what's going on there.
And she's the right
I
pick.
thought it was a pretty good 100%.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a very good match.
Yeah, I kind of was. It's funny. My pick was going the opposite way. In my head, I was like, Sasha was going to
Yeah.
be the sole survivor
I had-
because she's the boss or whatever, and that would use to further her bossiness. You know what I mean? Like, look at how good I am. I was the sole survivor. Because like heel sole survivor would be like, I don't know. I just think there was some kind of interesting heat behind being a heel sole survivor. But once I saw what they did with it, I mean, obviously, if you're trying to put over Bianca in that way, especially because you've got the other two women with the other championships in that singles match opening up, and you still want her to be considered in that top tier, even though she's not the champion. This was the right call. And Bianca is, out of the roster of young women they have there, Bianca's the right choice. She's the hot hand at the right time. And I think,
Agreed.
Becky coming back and squashing her and taking that title from her did her a big disservice. If anything, Becky should have came back out, not with ring rust, but I mean, you're facing the world champion and you haven't wrestled in a year. It should have been a good match, a competitive match where Becky realized that Bianca was going to beat her, so she held the tights, or like got herself intentionally counted out to get a rematch and then won it, or something. Not just hitting a move and pinning her in 28 seconds. So that all of the goodwill that they built up at WrestleMania kind of went away at that moment for Bianca, and they had to build her back up. And this is like a big building moment for her. So I'm happy that she got that spotlight.
I agree.
Yeah, I am too. And then they brought us to the main event, Big E versus Roman Reigns, which, man, I got to say, that match was fantastic. Both guys delivered. I thought it was great start to finish. I enjoyed everything about it, and I liked the finish. And it was pretty clean. I mean, it wasn't fugaziness out there. So overall, I was happy with the main event.
I just wish Big E got the win.
Yeah, but you knew it was going to happen. I mean,
No, you knew it
before
wasn't
that,
going
I
to
knew
happen.
it
That's the
before
thing.
Heyman came out and he said it was not a prediction, it was a spoiler when he was talking about the whole DraftKings thing. He was saying that you know who's going to win, who's going to smash them. We're the ones, baby.
I agree.
I should have went on
There was no
DraftKings.
chance,
But what I will say is this: it did not hurt Big E one iota because he put on a hell of a match against Roman. It was a great match. They have great chemistry.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought it was well done.
Well done, definitely. Great match.
Yeah, but yeah, I know we've said this a couple times, but even Eric mentioned at the beginning of the show, who is gonna fucking beat this guy? Like, just the way he's been booked right now, it's nobody's touching him. Nobody's touching him.
That's it.
So
The Avengers, maybe. Oh,
right,
he's-
yeah,
he's
that
the
was actually
he's the Thanos of WWE, bro. You can't.
well,
it.
that's why they
Jeez.
used to be the Four Horsemen, and when Dusty, when it was too much, Dusty would face somebody one-on-one and beat him legitimately. Then the other horseman would jump in and not be a fair fight. So
Yeah.
right now he kind of has that backup. He's got that like Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen backup
Exactly.
with the Usos and the
Yeah,
Bloodline.
as much as a Rock fan I am, even the Rock is not touching him.
No, because
The Rock,
As
if
mu-
that match does happen, The Rock is putting Roman over.
The Rock is
I mean,
100% putting him over
Yeah.
because he understands business, and yeah, they would have to have the. That's probably why The Rock is delaying this match. He's like, listen, I'm putting the fucking guy over. If I was in The Rock's position, it's like if I was going over, sure, I
It should be at a Mania.
But yeah, exactly.
It
You
should
gotta
be at a
wait until the
Mania.
right
I mean,
time.
it should be the second night in the very main event. That's what it should be.
But here's the thing,
Tara,
the-
just so you know, Tara, it was addressed at the very beginning of the show.
yes,
I
oh,
urge
should
you
listen.
and definitely suggest that you go back and watch it from the
Yeah, just
beginning because
rewind to the beginning.
I
yeah.
had a couple of things to say.
Oh, he was
um,
shot out of a cannon, as they say.
Just a couple.
Yes, just a couple.
Steve,
I rushed over here from getting a haircut to get here. I pulled up at 5:57.
I love
I
it.
never.
I
I
love
pushed
it.
I stiffed my
Cutting it.
son. I stiff armed him when I came up to the computer, so I can go ahead and be like, "Hey, I gotta see Steve because he's about to blow the fuck up."
I love it. I love
And
you.
I love
Hey, listen.
Steve,
Yeah.
unrelated, but did you address? I don't remember when this happened, but did you address the other war report thing?
Oh, we've talked about them briefly.
We haven't, but let's save that for the close.
Oh,
So why don't
Okay.
we'll address it and
Cool.
then we'll go into the close because I do want to get into Raw. Okay, so
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know
Survivor
if you want
Series
to-
overall, again, I think overall was a great show. It just didn't mean shit.
Right. And for one of the big 4 pay-per-views, it should mean
Everything.
no need
And
to
Tara
apologize.
never
Tara.
apologized. That's why you can go back and watch it on all the platforms and listen
Oh,
to it.
hell
So
yeah.
no worries. Everyone
Exactly.
has crazy days. No worries. But I do want to get into Raw because we are at the top. About 10 more minutes of the show. And the first thing that I want to get talk about before anything, and you can see on the bottom of the screen as we are chanting asshole, 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 fan spears Rollins on Raw on live TV. And on top of that, puts out this fucking ridiculous video today.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. If somebody needs like psychiatric help,
We need to
I
take
mean,
better care of our
referring to
mental
him,
health.
seriously, he needs meds. I mean,
Right.
referring to him as Colby, his real name, like your boys, and like you have a beef from the past. Like, hey,
But my
Vince, I
favorite thing
talked to you,
about
and Vince, you didn't warn him. Like, dude, there's something seriously wrong with this guy.
Right,
And the
'cause he
fact that
slipped in and out of using real name, like he said,
Yeah.
Goldberg and Vince McMahon booked me. You know what I mean? That's kind
Right.
of like a kayfabe thing. And then he's like, but they didn't tell Colby Lopez, which is like really shooty. So he kept going in between like storyline and like using
Like
people's real
Goldberg
life
had
names and
any
stuff.
So
fucking
yeah, so
power.
Goldberg is writing for
And
him.
I-
He's
Goldberg
part of it.
owns
He's booking it.
WWE with
He's a
Vince
booker.
McMahon.
Oh, okay.
and
That's
I
why
just
he was
can't
champion a couple
believe,
times.
and I just can't believe for the life of me, with the security the way it is, that this guy was able to get over the gate and
weird
fucking
thing,
spear
Steve.
the shit. I mean,
Guess
he
what?
speared the shit out of him.
Guess what, Steve? That was a hard fucking hit if you watch the video.
I've watched it in every angle I have
Yeah.
found.
every angle. I mean, but he hit
Every
him
angle.
hard, and he's a big boy.
Holy shit.
Um,
I mean, he
Yeah,
did
he
the right
does.
thing. He put him right in a headlock until the refs came over.
yeah, he front face locked him and took him
Bandito
down.
came through. Gotta
Yes,
love
Bandito
Bandito. He
came
was first on the
through,
scene.
Yeah.
Jimmy
But,
Yang came through. All those guys.
Jimmy
rolled
Wang
out.
Yang, you saw him? Yeah.
Yeah,
fucking,
man, I was excited to
but
see him. But get
holy
this, Steve,
shit, Vince. Go ahead.
This happened at the Barclays Center. You know what else happened at the Barclays Center? When Bret Hart was
Oh yeah.
Oh,
in
that's
the
right.
ring 2 years ago and got
Yeah.
jumped, and then the
That's right.
revival at the time had to. So
No, that was
other-
at the Hall of Fame ceremony.
Yeah,
yes,
which was at Barclays.
which is at Barclays.
Yeah.
Well, no, I know. I'm just saying it. That's
Right.
what it
So
was.
it's a Hall of Fame. But more interestingly, and this can't be a coincidence, it's too weird. It was the same section or area of the crowd that both people came out of.
Really?
So is it like, I
That's
hate to put it on
interesting.
one person. Is it like just that corner of the areas, like the arena
The gap
security
in
is just
security?
lazy? Like there's one
That's
dude
crazy.
that fell
Wow.
asleep.
Probably sleeping on the job.
Yeah, but the guy just wasn't, imagine if it's the same
Or
section, the same
somebody
area.
did somebody get slipped a few dollars and say, hey,
gonna-
don't.
I'm gonna say it's Finn. I mean, you guys can say whatever I'm saying. I said it
You
earlier.
think it's- Yeah.
5 or 6 years ago,
They
someone ran in the ring when Seth was cutting the promo on Finn and trying to attack Seth.
could
This
totally use that
happened
in the
after a
storyline.
match with Finn.
Yeah.
Coincidence?
Yeah, but
I
unfortunately
think
now
not.
this crazy
No.
guy went out and posted this video. Did you? All right, so if you watched all the way to the end,
The
of this
video
poor
is
guy's
creepy.
fucking
The video is creepy.
because
that's
at the
crazy.
end of it, he starts saying that he's also Samoan. And listen, I'm not going to dispute somebody's heritage or race or whatever. Motherfucker didn't look Samoan to me. But anyway, he started saying how he was
wants
part
to
of the
be part of the
bloodline
Lions.
and he did it for the Rikishi. He did it for The Rock. He started cutting the fucking
He
I did it for The Rock
people.
promo in the middle of his TikTok video right after he got released from jail. The guy is gonzo. There's if you look into his eyes, there is nothing back there. The lights are
How
on,
do
but
they let
nobody's
him
home.
out? How do they let him go?
I don't know. Ian J, my favorite liquor. What do you want to say here?
So what you're saying is when you
Throwing
look
his finger
into
up.
his eyes, you don't see a cult of personality?
No, I see. Well, I see a cult of schizophrenia. I don't know.
I'm
But
sorry.
I don't know. I'm just gonna say cocaine's a hell of a drug. No, I'm sorry.
yes, also that. Maybe that's what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, don't do drugs. Drugs are bad.
Fuck your couch.
During the news, they're reporting it. The last thing we heard the fan say before he hit Seth Rollins was "fuck your couch."
I
He was
just
really
imagine
talking
him,
about his jacket.
I'm gonna have
"Fuck your
myself a little
jacket."
peanut butter and crack sandwich.
Peanut butter.
Oh wow.
That's what he ate after he got out of prison before he made that video.
So yeah. So
Oh, yeah,
Sorry.
before we close out, Steve, one more thing, because we're not. I don't just want to pick on a mentally ill person without providing some context. Apparently, within the last 2 years, this person has gone throughout social media, messaging various Seth Rollins accounts, trying to befriend Seth Rollins, and he's run into 1 or 2 different people that catfished him out of money. Apparently, his girlfriend or a female friend that he knew got arrested for cashing a bad check or attempting to write a bad check to pay one of these catfishers. So this guy's mental illness, basically, I don't want to assume something, but my assumption is that based on what I'm hearing, he was trying to befriend Seth Rollins, and every time he ran into a fan account, he assumed it was the real Seth Rollins and believed them. So he worked himself up to believe that the jump he took in logic was the actual Seth Rollins, Colby Lopez, stole that money from me. And I need to get in the ring and get revenge.
The guy needs some help.
Video, yes, because in the video he even
Hope
says,
he gets it. Hope he gets it.
right, me and Colby, there's beef between me and Colby, but that's personal. Vince McMahon knows what it is, and that's why he let me in and didn't tell Colby. Long story short, this guy got catfished, and he's got some problems. Let's get this guy some help, please. Unfortunately, because arrest records are public information, there's a lot of info on the internet now about this guy, his full name, where he lives, all this kind of shit that you really shouldn't be looking into unless there's a legitimate reason. If you're looking it up just to make fun of him or troll him on the internet or whatever, you're a fucking scumbag. Let the guy alone. He needs, if anything, if you're a mental health professional listening to the show, or you're somebody that's friends with this guy, get him the help he needs. And let's not have another situation where that guy got arrested for throwing a bucket of shit on the performance center, or the other guy who stalked Sonya Deville. We don't need another one of these guys. Let's nip this shit in the bud.
Yep. And if you're an entertainer, asking for money, that also is a red flag.
Yes, if you're on the internet and somebody says asks you for money, don't give it to them
ever.
They're not really a celebrity. They're not a Nigerian prince. They're not a prince.
No celebrity that's worth millions of dollars is ever going to ask you for money. Ever.
His wardrobe alone, Seth Rollins' clothes that he wore was more than you made last year. He doesn't need your money, okay? He doesn't need your bitcoins, whatever it is. Don't fucking fall for it. I don't care if you're a young person. I don't care if you're an old person. Just don't fall for it. There's scams all over the internet. Just don't fall for it. That's our public service announcement for this evening.
He could live off his wife's money, let
And
alone
exactly.
his.
Yeah, he doesn't even need to work. Oh my god.
And he made the cardinal mistake. He worked himself into a shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, all you jabroni marks out there, don't work yourself into a shoot, brother. Shit, that's about it, right, Steve?
We are at the top of the hour, guys. It goes fast when there's a lot to cover.
Shit. Time flies.
Yes, sir. So, Vinny Mac, take us home, brother.
Report.
Yes,
yeah.
Real
we'll
quick.
Address that at the end of the show here. We said it again, and maybe if we have time, we'll kind of address it next week. But if you are following, or trying to follow us on social media, look for the account at Tag Me a Date. It's all one word. Tag like a tag, me like me, A like the letter A, date like you go on a date with somebody. That's our social media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, etc. On Twitch, we're twitch.tv/War Report. There is another podcast out there that calls themselves The War Report that also talks about professional wrestling. We've done a little bit of digging on them, and it looks like their Twitter account came into being in like 2020, so sometime last year, which means they got bored during the pandemic and wanted to start a podcast and didn't take the 30 seconds that it takes to Google search the name of the podcast that you want to start and make sure that nobody else has the same name. I do that with every project that I start. If I have a name for it on YouTube or wherever else, it's a quick Google search, guys, to figure out if there's somebody that has the name already and has been using it for, let's say, 5 years before your show started. No, and listen, I've never listened to your show. I'm sure it's lovely. I'm sure all of the people on your group chat and Twitter or Discord or wherever it is are great people and great wrestling fans. You just need to acknowledge that we are the original, like the Ghostbusters, when there were those 2 Ghostbusters cartoons. We're the original fucking Ghostbusters, folks. We are the head of the
We
table.
are Roman Reigns.
Yes, we are the original, the War Report. So if you go onto YouTube, you type in Tag Me a Date. That's our channel. You subscribe, you can get the podcast weekly. We go live 6 p.m. Eastern time. The other option is if you go to your favorite podcast. You can also go on Periscope to watch the live stream, Facebook to watch the live stream. And you can also go on Twitch to watch the live stream, twitch.tv/War Report. If you prefer a podcast, audio-only version of the podcast, rather, you can go on Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, whatever your podcast choice app of choice is. Search for Tag Me a Date or the War Report. Either way, the name is going to come up. You'll see a graphic that I created that says the War Report, and it will also have Tag Me a Date in the graphic. So when you see the actual like album cover in the podcast, it should be a graphic that has the name Tag Me a Date included in the graphic, if I'm correct. Otherwise, I don't know which graphic Ryan grabbed, but we'll show you next week. Maybe we'll just show it to you. We'll take a screenshot of the page and show you, because there are now apparently 2 fucking War Reports, which I am this for those of you who follow that other War Report, this close to starting a Howard Stern versus Opie and Anthony radio war with them. I just need I have a hair trigger, guys. I've got a rage inside of me that wants to come out. So all I need is the slightest bit of provocation from these jabronis at the other War Report, and I will unleash hell upon them.
All I can say is we're not a bad war report. We're not a good war report. We're the War Report.
Hey, yeah.
And on that note,
jerk our arms off like this. Dan it.
And on that note, Vinny Mac, take us home, brother.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the War Report, brought to you by TagMeADate.com, the first and only dating site exclusively for fans of professional wrestling. We are still redesigning the site and figuring out what dating apps should look like from our perspective in the modern world, this new normal of 2021 into 2022. So we'll keep you posted on that ride as we go along it. Please tune in, as I said, 7 p.m. on Eastern time. Or excuse me, that was our old time, 6 p.m. on Eastern time every Tuesday evening for our live stream on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, etc., Twitch, or you go to subscribe to our audio version. And I think that's it for this evening. I just appreciate our fans here. If you have any fans and wrestling fans in your life that are looking for a new podcast to listen to, give them a link, share a video, share an audio clip. We'd love to have you aboard. During the live stream, we have comments come up. Tara is always commenting. We've got a bunch of people that like to comment on our videos. And as our stream goes on, if you make a comment that's relevant to what we're going to talk about, or whether it's a question or whatever, we're going to put it up on the screen and address it live. And then you can see our response to it. So, the more community response we have, the more we can integrate what you guys, the feedback you're providing us to the show. So I encourage you to come in, hop in the chat room, whichever platform it is that you're watching live, and, join the fun here. Otherwise, we'll see you next week, next Tuesday, 6 p.m. on Eastern time for another edition of the War Report Pro Wrestling Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Have a nice week.